This one made me bleed. For that. Hey drummers, how's it going? It's Alex once again bringing some more fun-free drumming ideas. I thought we'd break down Led Zeppelin's Fall in the Rain. It's quite a tricky one, so sit back and let's give it a go. Right, Fall in the Rain, a cracking drum beat, quite tricky to play. I'll break down the hands section first, then I'll show you what the feet do, and I'll show you a few other bits that pop up in the track, which hopefully you can then all combine together and make it sound pretty sweet. So if we get the hands part first, I'll count it and then I'll just show you what the hands are doing individually. So to count it, we've got 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So we're doing that half-time shuffle feel. Triplets, and if you imagine each note or each beat being broken up into 3, we've got the number, we've got 1 triplet, then 2 triplet, then 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Now I'm playing little ghost notes on the trips, okay, on beats 1, beats 2, not on beat 3, and on beat 4. On beat 3, we're going to just adjust the sticking slightly, give a big crack with both hands together, let that note breathe, and then continue that pattern. So you get this right, left, right, left, right together, right, right, left, right. So get that down and just start looping it around a few times. You should get. One triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Now all you got to do now is add that first bass drum and you've got yourself a downbeat and a backbeat and it starts to sound pretty fat. So here we go. Okay, so on beat 3 I'm giving it a good crack, I'm catching the rhythm at the same time, and for those ghost notes, you know, I'm tapping as lightly as I can. I don't want to get it any louder than that hi-hat, and then basically what I'm doing is I'm not really sort of putting any wrist action into it, I'm just sort of releasing the stick by sort of letting these fingers go and then collecting it once it bounces, okay? If we go a bit faster it sounds a bit better. Alright, so it's time to add some more of those bass drums, and luckily for us, all of those bass drums land exactly the same time as the right hand. So if you're hitting a bass drum and it's not landing at the same time as a hi-hat, I'm afraid you're doing it wrong. But if you're hitting them at the same time, you got it right. And all it is, it makes it a little bit easy to learn as well, which is always good. And we've got a bass drum on beat 1, obviously. And then we've got one on the let of beat 1, so that's going to be 1 triplet. And then we've got one on the let of beat 2, so that's going to be just before we hit our snare. So far we've got 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, and then let's just go to there. Right, so what I'll do is I'll play it nice and slowly, just all the way up until beat 3, so we can get those first 3 bass drums down. So we've got 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3, like that. Okay, I'll just practice going out to that beat 3 and then see if you can speed that up a little bit. It'll start making a bit of sense. If I get it right. Once you got that down, just play the last, beat 3 and beat 4 afterwards, so you get this. Then all you got to do after that is you've got to add a bass drum on the let of beat 4. Again, it's going to land at the same time as the right hand, and you're basically going to get like a little double pump on the bass drum, just you go from the end of the bar to start a new one. So I'll play it through nice and slowly with all those bass drums. We've got a bass drum on beat 1, the let of beat 1, the let of beat 2, and the let of beat 4. And hopefully it's going to sound like this. You don't know how much more concentration it takes trying to play it that slow. It's really weird. Okay, so let's speed it up. It's really funky. Now all we got to try and do now is just open that hi-hat on that second bass drum. Okay, we're getting closer and closer to what Bonham was actually playing. All you got to do, right foot goes down, left foot goes up, right hand's going to be on the hi-hat. So you got this like that, and you just carry on everything as we normally would. Okay, so I'll play that slowly and then I'll play it a bit faster. This is my concentration face. It's so much harder to play slow. Okay, so let's speed things up. Comfort zone. So one more thing you can just chuck in is every now and again Bonham chucks an extra snare drum on beat 4, and so the sticking for that is like together, right, going from beat 3 onwards, and everything else is exactly the same. So you get this. And if you want to practice that, all I'd recommend doing is doing like playing a 4-bar loop and then just putting that one on the 4th bar. So you get this. Alright, and then if you want, just chuck in some of those sort of like septuplets or 16th note triplets around the kit, and you've pretty much got, in essence, what Bonham plays on that track, other than the other 2 grooves, which we'll maybe save for a later date. But anyway, if we put it all together, you can come up with something like this. Etc. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it sort of breaks it down enough that you can understand it. It's quite a tricky beat, and I know it's a very famous beat, so there's probably going to be a few people telling me I'm doing it wrong, but either way, it sounds pretty fat. So I'll write that down. The sheet music will be on onlinedrummer.com. If you want to come and say hello on Facebook or Twitter, if you want to have any, if you've got any questions or any requests, I've got a few stacked up at the moment. I'm going to try and get through those. But feel free to come and say hello, and I'll put the links for that in the description. And other than that, not much else to say other than take care, look after yourselves, carry on drumming, and I'll see you very soon for another free drum lesson. Laters. Bye.